Live. Welcome to Energy Alchemy with Jen. And I'm here with Stacy, who's going to support us today if anybody has any questions. Um, Today, I want to talk about emotional overwhelm. And so, if you haven't joined me before, each week I will be talking about a topic that will be just kind of what's happening in the energy, what's going on with the state of affairs. I can't see myself anymore, so I am going to. There's always so we're coming on a little late today because there's always some kind of technical difficulty, and I don't understand what it is. Okay, so now I can see myself. All right, yeah. So interestingly, there's just a lot of intensity happening right now. I was just saying with Stacy, like, why is this hard all of a sudden? Like it took 10 minutes to navigate through the technical challenges of getting this on today. And, things have been super intense. And I've done a lot of client sessions this week, and I've been doing my own healing on myself this week. And I've been talking to people who are having just all sorts of different kinds of experiences. But the one theme I keep seeing in the energy is like a lot of intense emotion and kind of a lot of scatteredness. Not a lot of there. There's an opportunity to get present and grounded and centered, but there's so much intensity, it's kind of pulling us out. So I wanted to talk about that today because it definitely seems to be a predominant theme. Um, Again, if you're joining me for the first time, this is Energy Alchemy with Jen. We meet every Friday at 12 p.m. Central, and we'll just be sharing about what's happening in the energy. I might lead you through a meditation. We might do some energy clearing. We might take some phone calls. We might have some guests. So I would love for you to join me. You can comment if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on Facebook, and Stacy will let me know if there's any questions or comments. And today we're going to go about 45 minutes and talk about some of the things that I've just mentioned, and I'll dive a little deeper. And if I have time for callers, we'll do that. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And today is Earth Day. So I love that there's this kind of energy of like a lot of emotional overwhelm, which can sometimes disconnect us from our bodies. And it can mirror our disconnection from the earth. One of the things that I've been made aware of lately is how related our connection to our bodies is to our connection to the earth. And a lot of us, based on, our societal way of existing, we're not connected because we live in a world of distraction. We live in a world of, on our phones, my kiddo's on his video games, my husband's on his fantasy football. We're so stimulated with so many things that it can require a lot of attention for us to get connected, centered, grounded, and go within. And we're not taught to do that. We're not really given this like platform to where that's easy. So it's so crucial for us right now to take the time to carve out for ourselves to 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 connect to our bodies and connect to earth. And I'm going to walk you through today a little like guided exercise to support you in doing that, because when we're in emotional overwhelm, when we're in a space of intensity, let's say there's a lot going on in your life, it is more important than ever to get into a space of self-communion, quiet, grounded, centered presentness. Is that a word? Presentness? I don't know. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I encourage you to put some questions in the comments. Feel free to reach out to me via email at jen@jencunnings.com if this resonates with you, if you have any questions. And before I dive into some of the content, I do want to share that I've got a couple things upcoming in June of this year. My co-facilitator, Darlene Owen, and I have a beautiful 5-night retreat in Mount Shasta, California, which is a very sacred place. And this is a beautiful opportunity to just kind of disconnect from life, get to a space that you're in a higher dimensional reality, and there's just beautiful opportunity to meet yourself in a really loving way. And so there are a couple of openings for that. It's a very intimate retreat in a beautiful home that overlooks Mount Shasta, and it is truly an extraordinary experience. So I wanted to share about that. I also wanted to share that I did a live earlier this week, which is on my Facebook page if you're watching that here. And Megan Silito is coming into town, into the Dallas area, May 13th and 14th, doing a workshop called The Movement of Creation. So that's coming up as well. I am in the middle of facilitating my self-love alchemy course. We're about halfway through. It's been a lot for those of us who've been going through it. And I plan on launching another similar or kind of doing it, but also facilitating it live again in fall. So stay tuned for that. And there's some more things coming around the corner, but those are the ones I wanted to share today. So getting back to Earth Day, if we look at how our relationship with the earth mirrors our relationship with our bodies, and if we haven't been so kind to our bodies, if we haven't been so kind to let ourselves feel emotions, intensities, then we disconnect. So really what we're looking for is an opportunity for us to reconnect with our being, reconnect with our bodies, and reconnect to earth. And in that way, we open up a space to honor, to love, to remember that truly at the heart of everything, we are one. So we can see how in our disconnection from earth, we've done, pretty atrocious things to Mother Earth, this beautiful, planet that has provided us with all the resources for us to live and thrive. And in return, we've been quite not so nice. And then we can also see how in this society, we've been really mean to our bodies. We have this expectation that is perpetuated through media of what a body should look like. And if it doesn't look like that, there's a lot of wrongness. Somebody was saying the other day how she was on Facebook and posting pictures of herself, and somebody had reached out saying, hey, like, would you be interested in this weight loss program? And she's like, well, why would you ask me that? And so I'm sharing that because there's an opportunity for us to restore emotional harmony with ourselves, with our bodies. And that also pertains to our emotional bodies, and that also pertains to the earth body. So I actually wasn't even planning on talking about the Earth Day, but I remember that it was Earth Day, and I do see the parallel of where we've been at a disconnect with our physical bodies and where we've been at a disconnect with our earth bodies. The other thing that's happening energetically, kind of on the bigger scale, as I talked about a little bit already with the emotional upheaval, is we really truly are in an intense period of transformation. So we just came through Easter, which was a beautiful opening, a beautiful energetic gateway. And we've got a solar eclipse coming around the corner, and we've got solar flares happening. And so this is stirring up a lot of stuff, meaning like if there's unresolved emotional density in our bodies that we haven't yet accessed, it's kind of like this great big purge, this great big transformation. But if we're not aware of it, it can really throw us off. It can really, create fear, worry, anxiety, depression, because we're not able to be in a space of allowance when we have these experiences of intensity. So for instance, last weekend I was doing a class and we were going through some meditations, and I just was crying. I was just purging and sobbing, and it went on for hours. And I don't have any awareness of what created that. Like, there was no story behind it. There was no, this happened to me and this is why I'm sad. It was just my body spontaneously needed to release sadness and sorrow. And we do that through crying a lot of the time. Maybe your body needs to release anger. Maybe your body needs to release resentment. Maybe your body needs to release fear. And so, whatever we've really been holding on to, whatever we've kind of repressed and suppressed and kind of shoved down there, it's starting to bubble up to the surface without any intention on our part. But what we can do is when that happens is to be in a space of receiving it, be in a space of feeling it. You guys might have heard the saying, like, we have to feel it to heal it. And that cannot be more true. I wrote a little bit of channeled writing today that I'm going to share that kind of talks about the intensity of this. Okay, so it says, the flame of transformation is upon you. The mass wave of awakening is causing a huge dismantling of older structures of energy that have pervaded the planet and our human bodies. So we are breaking down false structures and beliefs of control mechanisms that have driven the lower consciousness of humanity to stay, limited and confined. As these structures break down and the freedom of love replaces, there can be much upheaval. I can't read my writing, but it's something along the lines of like, this is going to continue. So I asked, what can we do? What can we do to ease the way of this emotional overwhelm? Maybe there's physical overwhelm in your body where you're experiencing heightened sensations of illness or pain. Each of us will have different experiences, but what I'm seeing as a common theme is the intensity as these energies come up to release. So some might be feeling the emotional overwhelm, some might be feeling more of the physical, but I can honestly say I've just seen the intensity, especially in the past couple weeks, but really like opening so much in April. So one of the things that we can do first and foremost is to allow ourselves to feel it and to be in a space of connection. So whether that's feeling physical or whether that's feeling emotion, it's setting aside time every day to be with yourself. And again, this is not supported in our society. Our society does not perpetuate us to go within. It perpetuates us to seek outside, to consume, to buy, to, look at your devices, watch TV, whatever it is. Like, how we are socialized is to externalize. And here we're needing to flip that script. Part of the breaking down of the structures that I just read about is we're having to let go of the way that we've done things that isn't working anymore. And so part of that is going back within and continuing to go within and sitting and being and allowing whatever is coming up for you physically, mentally, emotionally to be met with compassion, to be met with nurturing and allowance. The other cliche statement I like to say is, that which we resist persists, right? And we have to feel to heal. So we need to, anywhere we're resisting and avoiding how we're feeling, what we're thinking is going to perpetuate that. And I can speak very personally because I am like the master of avoidance. I've been a control freak a lot of my life, and we do seek to control, to protect ourselves, to keep ourselves safe, to experience normalcy. We exhibit control just to cope, but this is not working. And when we're in control, we're usually coming from a mental space, and we're usually trying to avoid and run from what's happening within us. So the title of our show today is how to deal with emotional overwhelm. And the number one thing you can do is to not run from it, and lean into it, face it, feel it, see it, love it. That might mean for you, you journal. Maybe that means you sit with your body and do some deep breathing. Maybe one of my most favorite ways that I teach my students over and over and over again, because it's so powerful, is to sit with your body and ask your body to show you what needs attention. Like, let your body guide you to show you where you have stored these emotional energies, physical energies. The cool thing about your body is it's so intelligent, and it will not lie to you. The body will not lie to you. The body is here to help you return to love. And we so seldom connect with our bodies. The way we have disconnected from our bodies is so apparent in our culture. So the default of disconnection and seeking outside, we're just kind of having to rewire all that and return to that inner connection. So there's huge opportunity for us to heal ourselves with just that simple act of sitting with ourselves and sitting with our bodies, and maybe asking a few questions of what needs attention, what needs love, what needs to be felt, what emotions, what have I stuffed in here? Your body will always communicate when asked. Some of us might perceive that communication through a physical sensation. Some might experience it through like a visual. Some might experience it through a knowing, because really it's a subtle engagement. So just the act alone of sitting with ourselves, breathing and being present with whatever's coming up for you, it's so simple and so powerful. Stacy here can attest to my reiteration of this over and over and over again in the class, because it works. It really, really works. The other thing that can really support us right now, and I feel like I also kind of beat this over the head, is communing with nature. And you can actually set an intention when you're out in nature to connect to the new earth energy. You can ask to connect and commune with the new earth grid, the unity grids. That way you are assisting and moving into a higher frequency connection with earth versus like an older version of earth. That just came through in the channeling today. Anytime we are in nature, it begins to reset and harmonize our frequency to the pure perfection frequency of nature. So that can be super easy and supportive. What I've noticed in my own experience, like if I'm inside too much or I'm on screens or my phone, all that electrical EMF kind of frequency, it might take me a good 20-30 minutes of sitting near a stream to where I kind of feel like, oh, like there's that harmony again. There's that sense of connection to body and feeling the frequency of nature. So give yourself some time to really be in that space. Going near a stream, for instance, being in that water, being in that flow can also help with our emotional movement, because the nature of water is fluid, right? The nature of water is always flowing, and that's the nature of our emotions. But oftentimes we've created dams or boulders or blocks into where the emotions aren't able to flow, because maybe we just didn't feel safe to have that experience at the time. And so we've stuck them in here. And so when we sit near water, when we're near a stream, a river, an ocean, a lake, we can kind of commune with the frequency of the water to assist us in that movement and allowing ourselves to reset back to that natural flow. Working with drinking water and asking, the water, if you've ever read, if you guys haven't ever checked out Hidden Messages of Water with Emoto, I can't remember his first name, but Dr. Emoto, we know that with intention and with frequency, we can actually shift the molecular structure of water. So you can ask that your water be infused with crystalline divine love, with the energy of flow, with fluidity, flexibility, and really anything. And so it's it's really important for us to have communion with everything we're putting in our bodies. And water is such a conduit of frequency that we can really infuse our intentions into the water. And that can be a super, super simple, easy way. What did I, let me see if I, oh, so what I wrote was by doing the programming, particularly with the intention of asking the water to be programmed with the crystalline frequency, helps to assist in the gentle dismantling of old structures, which I thought was interesting because if you think about like we're letting go of old ways of being and we're aligning with more of our truth and who we are. So as we're drinking, the water's flushing that those older ways of existing. And the way the information was coming through today kept referring to the old, ways in which we stuff and we repress and we externalize everything as structures. So if you think about like the structures, like we're condemning these old buildings that aren't really supporting us, and then we begin to align with more of that flow and more of that inner communion, and which really allows us to be more in love. Now I have to read my writing again. Oh, I'm like, what is that word? So the other thing that came through to support us right now is to ask for support. And the word was to buoy these experiences of, releasing and bringing in. So meaning, depending on your, relationship, like I call in my angelic team, I call in my star family, my guides, any, you know, um, any beings that are here to support me from, the higher realms, from the cosmos. Um, they cannot interfere without our invitation. So it's essential that we ask. If you are struggling and you are in intensity, ask for help. Ask for a sign. Ask for a synchronicity. Ask for a message. Ask for the intervention of support and help. That was the other thing to support us. And then the other thing, the last thing I wrote down was to allow your body to experience pleasure. And this was interesting. Yesterday, I had a self love day. I went to acupuncture. I got a massage, and I did a restorative deep stretch yoga class. And my body was like just soaking it all up. It needed it, right? Like, and so again, if we're in intensity and we're in overwhelm, we have to balance that with whatever is going to be really supportive in our bodies, and that's pleasurable. I would also, tune into your body. How does your body want to move? What does it want to eat? What would be really pleasurable and joyful for your body to experience? And the awareness I had yesterday in terms of that word pleasure, like, is that like, especially with the massage, like, oh my gosh, like it was so pleasurable. And, how often am I really giving my body the sensation of pleasure? And so that was the other way, because our bodies are having to process so much intensity right now, so much energy right now. So we really have to give extra. We really have to commune and be in that space. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And we can close with just a little guided experience. And I'll just pause there. And Stacy, is there any questions or comments or anything coming in?
Yeah, we have Sweet Fairy-ish who was on our YouTube last week, asking about the gentleman that she's working with, and if there's some sort of lesson that he's that she's supposed to learn off of that.
Okay.
So, and really enjoyed the light language from last week.
Awesome. Awesome. So would you do me a favor and hold that question till next week? Because I'm on limited time today and I do want to lead you guys through this experience. If you want to send me a question on Facebook, I'd be happy to give you an answer there. But if you want like a little bit more of an energetic support, go ahead and I'll be taking more questions and support next week. All right. So let's just go ahead and, if you're in a space to receive, and if you're not, that's okay too. But what I would recommend to do is get your feet nice and planted on the floor. And what we're going to do is just, I'm going to provide some energetic support to assist in the harmonizing of any intensity you might be feeling, while also just walking you through a quick and easy process for you to commune with your own body and connecting that to earth so that we can again release any place we're holding control, holding energies, holding emotions. And there I go, start clearing already. So go ahead and get your feet on the floor and begin to breathe in slowly. And let's go ahead and just breathe in for the count of 5 and then exhaling for the count of 7 or more, letting your exhale extend further than your inhale. Go ahead and do that like at least 3 to 5 more times, just letting yourself get nice and centered, nice and relaxed, letting yourself feel the communion with your body as you deepen your breath, slow your breath, and you draw your attention inwards. You can imagine as you're breathing that every breath comes in to caress and connect with your body. And as you're breathing, you're just going to say hello and greet your body. Just saying hi. You could say, body, I'm here for you. I'm with you. I know you've been going through a lot, and I'm here to support you now. And you can ask your body, is there anything you want to show me or communicate with me? Body, is there anything that needs attention or love right now? And as you let that question go, just notice any sensation, any thoughts, any feelings, anything that might be a pressure. Like as soon as I asked my body that, I felt kind of a pressure constriction in my belly. So that's my signal that my body is communicating. I'm holding something in my abdomen. And again, we're ideally wanting everything to flow in our bodies. So if we're holding something, we simply just want to give it attention. So wherever you're noticing, you might just place your hand on that part of your body, just sending some love, sending some compassion. And this is kind of where you just let your body guide you while you continue to hold presence and be in the experience. You're not looking to problem solve. You're not looking to fix. You're not looking for a why. You're simply being present with the feeling, the sensation, any emotions that might begin to bubble up to the surface. It's like when a friend comes to you and they're upset and you give them your undivided attention. You give them love. You give them comfort just by being there for them. So, just as you would do that for a friend or a loved one, you're now doing this for your body. And just like when a friend comes with a problem, it's not your job to fix it, but you can be compassionate and supportive and nurturing. So, just letting yourself hold that beautiful, nurturing, compassionate space for your body now. And you can stay here as long as you need. You can ask questions like what can I do for you, or how can I be here for you? Or you can simply just use your breath, your focus, and your attention to be here. Sometimes a change or a shift can happen quickly. Sometimes it takes days or weeks. But part of this experience, in addition to having awareness of where your body's holding density, is also the very important practice of communing with your body daily. Right? So we talked earlier about how much we externalize, how much our attention is drawn outside of ourselves. We're always, focused. So much of our focus is external. And so just 5 minutes a day with you and your body helps you to retrain to go inward. This also builds trust with yourself. This also builds your communion with your body, trusting you. And it's a very simple practice that you can do in just a few moments every day that is a game changer. So I recommend so highly to, take this simple practice and incorporate it into your daily routine. Another thing I've been guided to do with my body is to just put music on and let my body dance. Not me dance my body, let my body dance me. And sometimes that might be without music, like maybe like for me, because I'd like to sing and use my voice, I might, be doing that as well. You might have other ways that help you feel that inner connection. And so I just wanted to, open the space as a reminder and as an invitation for all of us in these intense period of times as we're dismantling a lot of these old structures to be super kind, super loving, and compassionate with yourself, and using the relationship with your body as a vehicle and as a way for you to continue that deepening relationship within. So I hope that was helpful for you guys today. I'm sending all sorts of love and support for all those who are watching, because I recognize it is an intense period of time. I've been experiencing it. I'm getting feedback from so many. And my sense is it's just, it is this evolution of unfolding that ultimately creates greater freedom for us, and will help us align even more deeply with our inner truth and our wisdom and our love. And in the meantime, we're just going to keep clearing the heaviness. We're going to keep clearing the old stuff that we're carrying around. And it's not easy work, but it's worth it, and you're worth it. And it will truly be like a liberation when as we continue to cycle through. So be patient and be kind and be loving to yourself. And Stacy, is there anything in closing before we sign off today?
No, I'm just, experiencing all the same thing. Like I told you before, it's hard to put a lot of stuff into words, but I went out on a motorcycle ride with my special other someone yesterday, and just all the blue bonnets along the highway and all that stuff. It was just refreshing and simple and basic, to kind of get out of my head all the stuff going on. So yeah, you really have to kind of get out in nature, I guess, and simplify every once in a while.
I love that. I love that word simplify. Like, and can everyone receive that? Because what a beautiful message. Because, I think oftentimes we overcomplicate things so much. Like, we make
Yeah.
our healing journey hard. And, there's so many different, people out there talking about all these different things. I mean, obviously myself included. And really, like the practice we just did with the body, so simple. Going out in
Yeah.
nature, so simple. Like, and
Yeah.
so there's just, I think that we want to make it hard. We want to make it
Hmm.
complicated. And it doesn't have to be. That's the mind trying to control.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
going through your clearing just now, like I very much so felt it in my throat, and that's been my thing for a
Mm,
while, like speaking my truth. And I was literally told this morning, you know, stop. I see your mind is wondering, like be in the present right now. What's going on in your mind? And I'm like, I don't know, nothing, but really it's so much stuff. And he says, well, talk to me about it. Like get it out and
yeah.
say what you're thinking and let's talk through this and let's see if together maybe we can or I can add some different perspective on it, and uh I'm realizing like it maybe I just need to do that. Like it's okay to speak about what it is, all the stuff in my head, and I have a safe place to do that too. So yeah.
Well, of course, we're in the middle of throat chakra week,
Right.
authenticity week in our
Yes.
class, and
Yeah.
so that's been really huge. The throat chakra and
Hmm.
feeling safe to express.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for adding that into the mix too, because um, there's been a ton of throat chakra stuff coming up, and I didn't even have a chance to address that specifically. And so if you're noticing, anything in terms of your expression, verbal expression, creative
Hmm.
expression, or even physical symptoms in the throat right now, there's been a lot in the throat and the heart coming up to clear. So yeah, what a beautiful message. And then did you do it? Did you express what you were thinking and what was going on for
A
you?
little bit, but a little bit, but there's so many thoughts. It's like what we
Yeah.
focus on first. Yeah.
But at least you did.
Yeah.
And if there's not someone in your space to do that with at the moment, journaling can be so helpful because we so much get in our head and it keeps spinning around, where anytime we're verbalizing it or writing it down, again, that flow, it gives it that
Mhm.
space to move.
Yeah.
So thank you for those beautiful
Sure.
contributions, Stacy. Yes.
Yeah. Welcome.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here, folks. We'll see you again next week, 12 p.m. Central, Energy Alchemy with Jen, and I'll create some more space to take questions. You can join us in the Zoom, or you can join us on Facebook, or you can watch this on YouTube streaming, all at Jen Cunnings. And thank you for being here. I really look forward to our next connection. And thank you, Stacy, for being here and that contribution. That was really perfect. All
Thank, thank you so much for having me.
right. Y'all
Hey,
have a great
see y'all
weekend.
later.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.